Javier, how are you? Congratulations on the win.
I'm doing good, Ariel. How are you? Thanks.
Are you tired?
Yeah, I'm super tired.
Well, you look tired, but I'm sure the jet
I'm,
lag and all that is a little more, it's easier to digest coming off a win and a experience like that. Could I ask you, even before the fight, like, what is it like being with Khabib in the Middle East, preparing for a fight of that magnitude? Like, he came across as a megastar just watching, on television. What is it like being by his side throughout that whole process?
well, I've never experienced being pampered to as much as we were on this fight. As man, everywhere he went, he had undercover police officers following him everywhere. I mean, he's being catered to in every way. But the thing about him is that it didn't change anything of who he is or what he's all about. I mean, he had all those luxuries, but like I did a little Instagram post that yeah, he may be having the luxuries of a Ferrari type, but he's still a Toyota, and it's all true.
It's amazing to see how popular he is. And I know you spent some time with him in Dagestan. Is it possible that he's more popular in the Middle East than he is back home, or is that a little bit of a stretch right now?
That's a little bit of a
Okay.
stretch.
All right.
Yeah,
He's
because
he's a
even
king back in
he's the
Dagestan, right?
king of actually Russia.
Right.
Actually, Russia. He's really very immensely popular everywhere, but I don't think he's more popular than he is at home.
Okay.
I myself, was shocked at how popular I am in Russia. It's crazy.
Is it a little surreal for you? Like, you see this guy, he comes to your gym, doesn't speak English, and now all these years later, like, that he's turned, like, I think he's the second most famous Muslim athlete in the world, very close to a soccer player named Mo Salah. And at some point he might like, he's on a different stratosphere. We have seen very few fighters reach the level of fame that he's at. Is this kind of crazy for you? Did you expect this?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I was actually prepping him a while back that, like with Muhammad Ali, why I consider Muhammad Ali the greatest of all time is not just because of what he did inside, but it's what he did outside that to me, I consider Muhammad Ali the greatest boxer of all time. Not because of the ring accomplishments, but because how he was as a person outside. And so I kind of thought Habib was potentially in line to go that route too, because of the immense popularity of being a Muslim fighter and being one of the few and only ones that are out there.
So there were some concerns about the weight cut. Could you tell us, how did it go in the end?
There was never any concerns about the weight cuts. I don't know where the hell that came from. All from maybe previous things. I mean,
Okay.
I read some what Chael Sonnen was talking about all these media obligations and et cetera, et cetera. But man, Habib's training every day, and actually, this was the first time that I actually was involved through the whole weight cut and the whole process. Man, I didn't even know how much this guy works out. He works out twice a day. He was working out twice a day. We were working out on Friday. We worked out with the weight cut. Then we worked out at night. After the weight cut. And then we worked out in the morning before the fight. It's like I've never experienced that before. You used to call me all the time and ask me, how's the weight cut?" I go, "I don't know. I'm not even there."
I
And
know.
this time, Habib made me show up.
Oh,
He
really?
wanted me to experience what the weight cut was all about, and here he is eating berries. Well, I did an Instagram post, him eating berries while he's doing his weight cut, and no, he had no problem with it. But I think in the past, I think he had problems with it, but not this time around. No, not at all.
Considering how much has changed in his life and the fame and the fact that this whole event was built around him, deep down inside, were there any concerns from your perspective about, you've been around the fight game, you become super famous, maybe you don't have that killer instinct anymore, you don't have that desire to work? I mean, clearly he was working really hard, but was there any part of you who's like, okay, hopefully this doesn't go to our head, we're still as focused as ever, even before we were a champion? Were you worried about that at all?
No, I wasn't worried about that at all because he was training harder than ever. But when we were in the dressing room, right, getting ready to go, I was noticing why the heck is he taking his damn time? I go, Habib, man, we got to get going. Go, no, no, coach, just let me watch. Let me watch this fight. I go, okay, but we got to get warmed up, and the commission guys are out there. Hey, God, we got to get them gloved up, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, what the hell? This is something different. And I didn't realize till after is that he was so concerned about his teammates, being that he wanted them to win. All the other Russian fighters didn't win, so it was really bothering him, so that was something different, and I didn't realize till after when he did the interview, the press conference, that he said that he doesn't want to fight when any of his teammates are on the same card because it bothers him too much.
Yeah, we've heard that from other fighters before, but he looked phenomenal. That first round was amazing. I thought it was a 10-8 round. Beginning of the second, on the feet, you thought, okay, maybe for a moment Dustin could, catch him, throw a Hail Mary. Were you at all concerned in the beginning of the second round?
Slightly, yeah, because he did hit him and his head moved, but the way he was moving, his head real jerking pretty far out, and Dustin wasn't really landing super clean anymore. I wasn't concerned. It's just a matter of trying to get him to settle down. And the biggest issue for me is I was always saying father's plan, and I just wanted him to stick to the wrestling because a lot of people they always underestimate how good his stand-up is, and they still do. They still underestimate his stand-up. But one thing they don't underestimate is his ground.
Mm.
But I myself, I like the easier route, and I don't want him standing with people when I know he's so much superior on the ground. But I was concerned a little bit because there was a couple of shots that landed, and Dustin's a great fighter, and we knew that, we knew that going into it that we had to respect him and give him the full due respect that he deserved. So we trained for him specifically to train a great fight, to fight a great fighter, and that's what Habib did.
What was going through your mind in the third round when he was in that guillotine choke?
I was laughing in my mind. I was going, he's going to blow his arms out. He ain't going to get nothing. Look, I've seen him in my gym with one of my Division One wrestlers, Kyle Kretschmer. He had him in a choke that I thought, oh shit. I go, I'm going to see him tap for the first time ever. I was about to take my camera out to film it. To go, ha, sucker! You said you never tapped. Here you are. You're tapping. And God damn it, he didn't tap. He just relaxed. He relaxed. And next thing you know, Kyle, he got out of the hold. I don't know how the hell he does it. I've never seen him tap. And the guillotine, I go, no one was concerned. None of us were concerned. We knew he wasn't going to get out. If there was be any concern would be maybe if we had an unprofessional ref, they might have said, oh, he's done, and
Right.
obviously watched his arms. There's no way he was done.
Shortly thereafter, he wins the fight. What a great scene. Everyone's so happy. He jumps over the cage. Were you worried about at all, or did you know he was going to do that?
No, I was too busy hugging his dad.
Oh, okay. And
We were like hugging each other, like very happy that the first time I got to train with a great man like him and a great coach, and so I was hugging him. I didn't see anything. I was just giving him a hug.
a lot was made of the fact that his dad was in his corner for the first time. Did you sense a different Khabib because his dad was there?
Yes, there was a little bit more motivation. There was a little bit more pressure on him to perform in front of his dad. Yes, for sure, absolutely. And after the fight, he said, "Coach, please, next time, no more father plan. Just let me fight, please."
Oh,
'Cause
really?
I said, "Well, we'll see," because I always want him to stick to his strength, and that's what he got it from his father. And though he's a hell of a striker now, I still prefer the easier route.
So for you, I mean, like how much his dad means to him. A lot has been made of this, and it seems very sincere and genuine. When he calls his dad over and you guys are standing there together, and he's publicly giving you a shout out, telling you to speak, like this doesn't happen often. For someone who's been in the fight game for so long, and sometimes it could be a thankless job. I know you guys are in the back. Maybe you get blamed for a loss. You don't get credit for a victory. What are those moments like? You're there with his dad and him, the most famous man in this region. What is that like for you?
Well, it was kind of surreal, to be honest with you, because I didn't expect that, and I should have expected him because normally fighters, when they're out there after a victory, they forget about all those things, and he didn't. He didn't forget anybody, and he wanted to bring him out. And when he called my name, I wasn't expecting it, and my only thought was his dad. I was almost in tears just thinking about his dad being there. That to me, that's all I was thinking about. I was very happy for his father because, man, come on, his father trained him from as a child, and here's this great coach letting him come to the United States to train with me, and I'm getting a lot of the credit that his father should be getting also. And for me, it just it was a great honor, and to have him finally be there to witness his son, do the greatness that he's been doing. It's kind of teary for me.
Did you guys get the hamburgers and the steak and all that afterwards?
No, I had to leave, man. I had to shoot. As soon as I got out of there, I got up 4 o'clock, and then I had
Ah,
to get up 5 o'clock to go back to Dubai to get to the airport. So I only had 1 hour, like, to try to shut my eyes. And no, he got the hamburgers on his Instagram. They showed they went to the Prince's Palace in Dubai, the compound he
wow.
has over, and they cooked them a whole bunch of hamburgers and everything. I missed all of
You
that.
didn't
No,
want
I
to
was
stick
on.
around?
Hell yeah, I wanted to stick around.
So why
Are you
didn't you?
kidding me? Well, my wife didn't want to stick around. She
Oh,
wanted to come home, so I had to go with the boss.
fair
I couldn't
enough.
stick.
Yep. A happy wife, happy life. I respect that greatly. And so now the big question is, what is next for Khabib? I feel like everyone with a sane mind thinks it should be Tony Ferguson. If it were up to you, who would be next for Khabib Nurmagomedov?
If it was up to me, Tony Ferguson, he deserves it. He's always deserved it. But as you know, it's not up to me, and sometimes it's not up to Tony. And sometimes it's not up to Habib. Who it is always up to is the UFC, because they're the ones that are offering the individual that they want to fight for the title. And it's a business, and this is not a true sport. It's a business where you give the fans what they want. So what the fans want is always, obviously, right, it's what makes the most money. That's what the fans want. So we'll see what happens. But Dana has stated that Tony's next, and if they can't work out the deal, then they'll go with Connor. But who's to say Habib's going to want Connor? Habib stated many a times that Connor has to do something before he even wants him. And I shouldn't even talk about Connor because he's not really in the picture.
Okay, so who do you think will end up being Khabib's next opponent? Given the
Tony.
landscape, you think it will be
Oh,
Tony?
Tony, I hope so.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Uh,
He's done everything he needed to do. He's had unfortunate situations happen to him, and he deserves the shot. I don't think anybody deserves it above him. I really don't. That's just my opinion.
Is there any chance Khabib fights again in December before the year is out?
Anything's possible. I mean, he said that he wanted to take a few days and enjoy his hamburgers and whatnot before he makes a decision. So anything's possible. What is 100% possible is he'll be fighting, I believe, before February of next year for sure,
Okay. Why is that?
because he wants to be active, and he doesn't want to just rest and fight once a year. He wants to fight 2 or 3 times a year.
And I wasn't going to ask you about it, but I'm just curious. Like, he has said it from your perspective. Like, when he says, like, I won't even entertain this Connor fight, he has to do it. He means that, right? Like, this is something that he feels
100%.
strongly about.
Strongly about it, and there is no love lost
Yeah.
between those two.
Right.
The bridge is broken, and I don't know if it'll ever be repaired, to be honest with you. And hey, it is what it is.
Is there a part of you that almost doesn't want to go through all that again? Like, it would be nice. The build up to this fight was nice, right? And the aftermath was nice with the t-shirts and the charity and all that. Like, it gets really ugly when those two are together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that part I really loved. I loved Dustin's, sportsmanship and true fighter, the way he acted himself, and Habib really respects him a lot. As a matter of fact, he respects him so much that at the back, the Reebok wanted the T-shirt that they gave that Dustin he got from Dustin, because after the fight they get one thing signed. Habib wouldn't give the shirt. He would not give the shirt. So instead, he gives signed gloves. And and I know those gloves are worth a hell of a lot more than the shirt. But that shirt meant more to him than the gloves, and he gladly gave away the gloves.
Wow.
He would not give away that shirt. He goes, "No, I'm not giving the shirt." And because normally they go after the lesser value, right? But
Right.
Habib gave the higher value because there's no way in hell he was going to give the shirt he got from Dustin, because it meant so much for him to have received that from Dustin. To him, it was an honor, and he
Wow.
wasn't going to money. No money was going to change that.
That is amazing. Just want to ask you two more things before I let you go. We're gonna have your guy Cain Velasquez in studio in a few minutes. He's now a luchador. Do you think we'll ever see Cain fight again? Do you want to see him fight again, given the success that he's had thus far in wrestling?
Well, it's up to Kane. I mean, he's able to do whatever he wants, but I love the fact that he's taking the luchador like serious and really practicing it. And his introduction to it, he looked like a luchador. He didn't look like an MMA guy, and I was very happy about that. I made a speech about that in the class that he made me very proud to go out there and practice. The skill instead of going being an MMA guy trying luchador. He went as a luchador, being a luchador, and that was impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's done. I know he's returning this Sunday, Madison Square Garden, so that is very cool. And finally, do you want to see Daniel Cormier fight again?
I didn't want to see him fight this last fight, because of the fact that he didn't need to. He didn't need the money. He can move on with the entertainment world, the broadcasting, and everything else that he's been doing. So, obviously, he's such a competitor that I don't see him. letting it go. I really don't. I somehow or another, I don't know when he's the decision maker there, but I do see him not letting it go and not finishing like that because he's much better than he showed. And all props to Stipe who basically was able to adjust. I mean only great fighters can do that, and Stipe proved he's a great fighter.
Have you talked to him recently, or are you giving him his space?
I've been talking to him here and there. I'm giving him his space because of the tragedy of losing his father. I mean, nobody truly knows how that feels unless it happens to you. And just because you handle it better doesn't mean that they handle it as well as you. So you always have to give them their space and not even discuss anything related to fighting because that's the last thing on their mind.
Right.
And I've never discussed what he wants to do next. No, all I've done is I love the guy and I just care about him as a person. I just called to see how you doing, how you feeling. I don't care about the fighting.
Right. Actually, I have one more of everything that you experienced with Khabib, because you guys did a training camp prior to this were you in Dubai prior to going to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, we were at the Nas Training Center, the Princess Center, the compound. Oh my God. What you want to talk about world-class facilities. I couldn't believe how great that place was.
Really?
And then we went to the Prince of Abu Dhabi. We went at his house.
Wow.
Had a huge place there, and they treated us like royalty over there. We had great food after training, before training, after training. It was like the red carpet treatment, man.
I can't imagine now going back. Not to say that your gym in San Jose is like the slums, but like you said, you were treated like royalty over there. I'm just wondering, is there an experience, a moment, an interaction that you'll always like? This was a very unique thing, having Khabib fight in the Middle East in front of all those people, being treated the way like this isn't a common thing in our sport. Is there something that's always going to stick with you, from this experience?
Yes, the treatment and the way Ahmed, who's the prince's right-hand guy, took to me and he brought me aside. He took me to go see all the training center where the soccer fields, underground locker rooms are at, and where they have, Cristiano is a locker and his name's out there, and then the prince's secret quarters and the whole bit. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
It was an experience, man. That place is a sight to see. Obviously, nobody can go there because it's very private, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful state-of-the-art facility, man.
Amazing. What an experience. What a performance. What a victory. I think he is the most dominant fighter in the history of the sport, and I think that was on display on Saturday in Abu Dhabi. Congratulations to you and the team, Javier. Thank you for doing this. I know you're tired, but I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again, Ariel. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right,
There
bye.
he is, the head coach over at American Kickboxing Academy, the great Javier Mendez. Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.